The science of God's consciousness, coming and going. When Ezekiel 10 concludes in the same manner as Ezekiel 1 began, it is not merely literary symmetry, it is a neural pattern, waveform intelligence, a quantum recursion. What we are observing is the field of God's consciousness making a decision first to arrive and later to leave the building. He has filed for divorce and moved out of the house. In quantum mechanics, a particle exists in a state of potential until observed, until consciousness says, "I'm here." Ezekiel 1 and 10 represent that same moment but on a cosmic scale. When God enters the temple, it is not about footsteps but the collapse of his presence into locality. And then departure, and when he leaves? It is his consciousness unbinding from the form he took to offer himself as the hierarchy of true and perfect judgment. As no one believed him, the only thing keeping him there is his own desire. Upon the blindness of heart in the people, he makes the decision to let them have their heart's desire, for him not to see them. Being under God's eye is also his protection. Protection from our own consequences, because every good father knows when that is the only way their child will see the pain of their choices. The throne above the cherubim is also the crown above the neural grid, God's mind. It hovers above them as the superposition of God's will, above the quantum framework. Cherubim are the axons, the wheels are orbital synapse loops, and his glory, well, that is the focused awareness of God. Wherever the spirit goes, the wheels go, and wherever consciousness turns, the body responds. First, when to inhabit a vessel and then, when to depart from it. To have God's attention is to receive his glorious presence. So, when God looks, a city becomes lavish. But when God withdraws, the city begins to collapse. The temple is just a vessel with his glory as his essence and the very heart of God. After Jesus, his presence dwells in all who have accepted his mark, the cross. Death to systems of law and life to overcoming our own dark nature. We are the children of the fallen angels, and we are first created by God and given his spirit through fallen angels' DNA. Before them, we were mere animals. Wherever God's consciousness rests becomes him, and where he lifts it, turns to the system of collapse. We cannot exist without God, and to say he does not exist is to say we do not exist. Ezekiel 10 mirrors our decision as well, to look upon the glory of God and be whole or turn from him and collapse. When God leaves the temple in Ezekiel 10, it shows a spiritual nervous breakdown of humanity. First, they stopped resting their consciousness on the things of God and left him, placing their consciousness on their personal pleasures. Praying to whomever would say yes to their most depraved actions and begin to worship the work of their hands. Just as in the garden, they covered with leaves and hid rather than seek the Creator to clothe and cover all that has been laid bare. A warning to each soul, not to become like dead skin that needs exfoliation. Or dead leaves on the vine, or you will be thrown into the fires of renewal. We can't live with limbs that have gone gangrene. So, if your inner temple becomes corrupt, his consciousness will lift and turn you over to your sinful nature, or the infection of your choices. Ezekiel is looking through a microscope. Witnessing the living nervous system of God, actively choosing where to place his attention. Watching as the decision-making of divinity in real time along with the execution of decision. My eye will not pity, God says. As in, I have lifted my gaze. Or, the observer has turned away. And so, the glory departs. Not in wrath only but in surgical precision. Don't forsake your first love. You knew him well before the world grew dark, children know him.